Greetings, fellow exploring duplicants. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included, the Frosty Planet. Episode 11, New Discoveries. Alright, another question. Should I continue working on the airlock, or work on another task? So what's left for this airlock would be to fill up all the suits with oxygen, to sweep up everything because it's dirty, and then to make sure, or then to attempt to gain access to a source of chlorine, or I'm happy to work on another task. Have you guys vote on that? So 2.5 minutes on the polls there. Thanks for voting. Where are these guys going? Oh, picking up iron ore. Nice. So all the plume squash is now fertilized. The high pressure oxygen area is lowering in pressure because of that other pump. Alright, a mammoth is starving. I know. I don't have a lot of food up there. I mean, if they starve, they starve. I have eggs in there. It's not a big deal. And this liquid lock is pretty close to being done. I'm still digging up a little bit to lower the water level so that I can actually do the plumbing. The mopping. Still frozen in here, but the temperature is climbing. I probably want to address that at some point. Removing anything that is like a kilodTU or higher out of there. To fix that situation, because eventually it's going to get a little bit too warm and I'll have to wheeze ward it or something. I'll have to address it somehow. But whether that's now or later is up to you. So, printables. Balm Lily. Oh, interesting. Shine Nymph. Yeah, let's get our first Balm Lily seed. I don't think I'm going to be farming Balm Lilies anytime soon, but if we did, Balm Lilies need to be in very temperate conditions, quite warm, in chlorine gas, and but you know, whatever. It's nice to have a unique seed. Access to unique seeds could be interesting. Alright, flip-flopping which gas pump's working, and you guys want me to keep going for the airlocks. Got it. Alright, I want to sweep up and mop up so that we can finally airlock this. So what's the water levels at 269? Got it. We'll just keep digging this way until I can drop the level so that we can actually start mopping. One thing I realized is, yeah, we'd gone pretty far west, but I haven't actually looked around. So there is something here, and I'm going to use the exploit, cheat, technique, whatever you want to call it, to figure out what this is. It is a cool slush geyser. Got it. Neat. So you can tell by the neutronium that it's some sort of special something or another. And the cool slush geysers release cold polluted water. It's a renewable source of polluted water. So that's pretty handy to know if I want to start acquiring a large sum of water. It might need filtration, but it's close to melting temperatures, which can be very useful. And that's the first geyser that I've found so far. I'll take a quick peek around, see if there's evidence of anything else out there that are points of interest. So there's the bonbon trees. I haven't actually gotten to them yet, but they are the other... Oh, here we go. So here's a new creature that I've never seen before because we've dug all the way up here for the first time. So I'll take a look at that in just a second as well. So this is a spigot seal. So the spigot seals are charismatic creatures that produce ethanol. So they enjoy sipping nectar from the bonbon trees. So essentially, they drink the nectar off bonbon trees. The bonbon trees require illumination to produce nectar. So let me go to the bonbon trees first so you can understand the production chain, or whatever you want to call it. So bonbon trees require a oxygenated, polluted, oxygenated, carbon dioxide atmosphere, snow, vacuum, they don't really care. Temperatures that are relatively frozen. They consume snow, and they produce nectar, but they do also require light. So I think, yeah, they synthesize light to produce nectar. They can also be harvested the branches for wood, and the nectar is something that the seals consume for ethanol. So then the seals consume the nectar straight from the bonbon tree to produce ethanol. So sort of similar to like pips, I guess. And if you kill them, they produce tallow, which is a ingredient for pemmican. But they don't really produce a lot of tallow. So I would say it's not a very good source of pemmican. But if you want to farm a lot of seals, they are involved in making higher quality meals. So, but it's a lot of tallow. And, yeah. So they produce ethanol and tallow, depending on how you treat them. So killing them isn't a source of meat like other critters. Still not moppable. All right, the sweeping is it's looking better here. Still too much liquid. Almost there. We almost have the water levels or the liquid levels down enough. Oh, we're smashing patties. I was wondering about that. I was like, I didn't have us doing more iron ore. We almost have 1,000 kilograms of iron ore, so we have a plenty. What do we get? Research of refined renovations. So that is the fire pole, allowing us to traverse up and down more quickly. So taking a look at what I might want next. Ethanol distillery refines wood into ethanol. That might be good if we find ourselves with an excess of ethanol. And then if we ever want to clean polluted water from that slush geyser, distillation probably is the most sensible next, plus improved plumbing. So those are the two next that I'm going to get. Improved plumbing so that we can actually store water if we want to store it. And then the sieve and for cleaning it. All right, we are now moppable. Mostly because I think we hit a pit hole here. But hey, whatever. If it gives us ethanol, that makes me happy. So we got the fire pole, and the fire pole allows us to traverse up and down quickly. So I am going to use... You know what? I'm going to make this out of cinnabar, not iron ore. I think iron ore in the long run is going to be more important than cinnabar. So I'm going to make this out of cinnabar. Until we run out of cinnabar. And then I can also look for additional sources of cinnabar around the base. Because there's still unmined cinnabar like around. So let's take a quick look at that. Go to metals. So here is where like added cinnabar ore is that I can dig up to make more of the fire pole. want to go too far. Most of everything outside of our immediate vicinity is iron ore. There's actually surprisingly not a ton of cinnabar left. But I'll use it all up, because it's not something that we're going to necessarily want to refine, because we refine cinnabar. It refines into mercury, and I don't think I'm going to want to turn cinnabar into mercury ore, but cinnabar ore itself has a pretty decently high melting point, because it's because whatever it's mixed with doesn't melt quite the way that mercury does. Refined mercury. Much lower temperature. So using cinnabar for construction projects makes the most sense, I think. Alright, here we go with the mopping. Yeah, I guess everything out here, for the most part, is like iron. There's tons and tons of iron everywhere. Which is handy. I like iron as a material, because obviously it is the material that goes into steel. So, if and when we need steel, having tons and tons of access to iron is very handy. Alright, suit docks. So, about half full. A little more than half full. These 3 suits are fully... and then these 3 need more oxygen. What's the amount that can be mopped? Like, less than 100, I think? Or 100 kilograms? Don't quote me on that, but that's anecdotally what it looks like. Something around that. And our liquid lock is... we'll get a delivery of ethanol soon. I'll just get a lot of liquid ethanol here. Like, I'll mop all of this up so that we can make liquid locks in the future without too much effort. So I don't want to have to continue that. So the advantage of these, the fire poles, I suppose I never explained, is the fire poles you can go down really, really, really quickly. So you can't climb back up quickly, but it's really good for downward direction to speed you up considerably. So I like to run a fire pole around the base so that, like, at least half of the time you can traverse terrain rapidly. I am switching the pumps because this looks like quite a bit of carbon dioxide. The other thing I can consider is widening our Aloe Vera farm down here to include a lot more of the expanse over here if I feel like I need to be converting more carbon dioxide. I think that is not necessarily unreasonable, but it's a little bit out of scope of what I need to do right now, so I'm going to wait until it gets voted on. But I do think that it's, like, not a terrible idea. Skills. We have a bunch of dupes that have a bunch of extra skill points, but I actually don't need them to be more skilled at anything right now, so I'm just not all that concerned about assigning skill points. I'm fine with them. Ooh, look, we have some shearing to do. These guys are cramped. What is your skill growth? 30%, 45, 68. How are you cramped? I'm actually going to kill off the least scaled one. Because they're also running into food problems, so it will solve, you know, two birds with one stone type of deal. Alright, you're no longer cramped, I'm assuming. Just looking for food. So we'll just aim for there to be 2 of them then. It seems like 3 is kind of pushing it. Because we don't irrigate very often. Our farm, we need more farmers. We have 1 toilet that needs plumbing. I'll keep an eye on Sean, make sure he gets that done. So, taking a look at errands here. It is Sean's 10th task. Because he is, yeah, mostly mopping. So I'll stop the mopping for now, so that Sean's... It's now Sean's number 3 task. So that will be done in soon. Now it's Sean's number 1 task. Okay. So the priorities kind of worked itself out. Oh, we are getting ethanol from up here for this. I'm going to have it be sweep only because I don't want to be draining this ethanol. What I could always do is sweep up or mop up all this ethanol and dump it in here. It's not a terrible idea because the advantage of that is this becomes a renewable pool of ethanol that I can source from. So that might be a smart idea. It's a lot of manual labor, but suit wearing, doctoring, supply. Okay, lime. Definitely don't need another Elvale Vera seed. I have 145 of them. But lime's going to be useful for if and when we want to get steel. So here comes the liquid lock. So 3 more deliveries of that, and that should be done. Switching the pumps around because it's not pressurized in there too highly now. And we're getting back to trying to oxygenate the suits in the suit dock. Oh, we have a little Bimini now. I think next time we shear these 2 mammoths, I'm gonna kill them off for meat. Because these Biminis will be good for like 200 cycles, whereas these guys are kind of older. One is 124 out of 200, and the other is 145 out of 200. So I won't have to worry about my mammoth population if I out them sooner than later. Relative temperatures. Hey, it's still below freezing, but it's pretty warm there compared to everywhere else. Definitely a hot spot with all the heat we generated. Which is like a good thing. We wanted to warm up. We wanted to warm up without it, like, specifically trying to warm it, but just from the result of productivity. Right? I wasn't actively trying to heat it, necessarily. It was more, I wanted to... Oh, hold on. I wanted to generate heat as a result of industry and benefit from that heat. So no space heaters, no tempedizers, nothing like that. Alright, that should be the final shipment of ethanol in order to form an actual liquid lock. So I think we're done. Yep, it is liquid lock. I'm actually going to do a sweep only of just a little bit more, just so that it's a better seal. But the liquid lock's finished. And then the rest is just like sweeping it up so it's nice and clean. And filling the last 2 suits with oxygen, which is currently happening. Now, I did sort of want to mop all this up. It's a lot of labor in order to do it, but I think it gives us access to, it allows us to treat this as like just a resource pool. Plus, all this needs to move eventually in order to, or at least this does, so that it it's not, you know, a future problem for our airlocks. Another thing I had mentioned and never did was potentially storing ice here so that we have ice closer to these alvelvera so that we can fertilize them a little bit more easily. So this stockpile, copy settings, and paste. So this should be, 7 ice. It should be slightly higher than 5. Because at 5, it competes with the sweep-only storage bins. Which these are just like a catch-all sweeping. Basically, it's our junk pile. Well, I will say once this gas reservoir is full of oxygen, that's like airlock done. And that's coming. We're getting there. We're about to fill up the last suit. Yep, last suit's full. So now it's going to start filling up the tank. What's the benefit of sweep-only bins opposed to general storage bins? Sweep-only only allows the things that you've queued up specifically to sweep, meaning that it allows you to direct the attention of your people to tidy up. So, for instance, if these weren't sweep-only bins, everything that I dumped out of these bins would then be put back into the bins before anything else. So it doesn't actually allow you to clean up new areas. So if I wanted, like, this stuff to be swept up, opposed to the background of just, like, all the junk everywhere, I would need sweep-only bins. Maybe I didn't explain that well, but yeah. Unless you're trying to store everything that you have, sweep-only bins is really where it's at. The other thing I might want, just because these bins occasionally outgas, is a deodorizer there. Alright, I'm going to start enabling the building. I think we're going to start using our atmo checkpoints. Not for water, because I haven't happened upon germs, so I'm not really worried about germs just yet. But for the suits, because it's not really breathable down here anyway. And soon it looks like I might need to slow down on the oxygen pumping because, as you can see, it's outpacing the oxalite. So we'll stop that. And instead, put on our airlock pump. It's been a while since that's been on. The other thing is, oxygen's a little thin outside the base, so I could also intentionally dig up some of this oxalite, free this oxalite, and have it outgas. Or free this oxalite. You know, any oxalite anyway, really, and have it start to outgas. Trying to think of where I would... I could get to this oxalite, but I would want to try to avoid this area. So maybe like this. The CO2 is climbing. Yeah, I know. I'm not concerned about it. Alright, well, we're using suits for the first time. That's exciting. There's a big penalty for the movement speed using suits, but it's one that outweighs holding your breath and being chilly and being, you know, cold and wet and all that other bad stuff. And I think I am going to get exosuit wearing for everyone now. So that they all have their exosuit penalty reduction gone. So that wearing these Atmo suits, we can do without, you know, big athletics penalties. Where to illuminate? Maybe the shearing here? I'll put it as an emergency. It's kind of annoying for the one that was sleeping, but oh well. Too late now. Damage is already done. Do I have other carved quartz anywhere? I'm gonna have that one soon, but not quite yet. Okay, we have one too many craters in here. Probably go with smashing some eggs. I'm gonna smash extra eggs. So, question for you all. What project to work next? If you vote for exploration, it will be a breakout poll of whether you want me to work on chlorine for the airlocks, for the ore scrubbers that is, or if you want me to just explore, knowing they don't have ore scrubbers. Because I can ignore the need for chlorine for a bit. I might want to modify actually this a little bit. Let me change this priority. Okay. I've retyped up a new priority list. So there it is. We have explore, build a laboratory, build a kitchen, build a great hall, build a recreation room, build a nature reserve, capture chlorine, use the slush geyser, or other. Something that you guys suggest that I hadn't typed up, which would open up a viewer suggestion inbox. No, looks like we have a little bit more reed fibers. Nice. Is this Bamini? Oh, they can't climb, so it has to be wrangled from this spot. Yeah, whatever. And I think while you work on that, I am going to go Alvelvera crazy. So they won't really have to worry about the continuing carbon problem. Ooh, some free sand? Some resand. Alright, distillation just got researched. Cool. So we'll do improved plumbing, like I said I would. I don't know what your viewer suggestions were, but if the viewer suggestions was to expand the Alvelvera farm, I'm already on top of it, because I see the carbon problem as a problem to be addressed sooner than later. So maybe what I'll do is I'm going to reset this poll, knowing that I'm already working on Alvelvera. If that was viewer suggestions, then you're freed up to vote on something else. So there it is again with the timer reset. Alright. What I'm trying to do now is just like mop up all of this ethanol so that I can move it and use it. It's a lot of mopping tasks, but at least we have a suit for it now. Which is certainly better than what I could say from before. And this mammoth that just got sheared, I am going to kill. Out with the old, in with the new. This is probably not actually moppable, I'd imagine. Because that's pretty deep. So I'm going to dig out a hole in the middle. I just got abyssalite. For the first time. I dug through it, didn't even realize it. So this expansion should definitely help to convert this carbon dioxide back into oxygen. Taking a look at the breathability, yeah, I mean, a lot of our base is carbon dioxide now, and that's why I had it before it was even pulled on. And it looks like you guys want to do viewer suggestions. So what I'm going to do right now is open up a viewer suggestion box, and I will take a few suggestions. What I will say before I open up the suggestion box is make sure it's within the scope of what I'm currently working on. So if the suggestion is like wildly out of scope, meaning that it takes way more time than is sensible to work on right now, I'm not going to be including it. Basically, if you're like, build a space rocket, it's like, no, that's not reasonable. It's way too much work for like a single voted goal. So, the suggestion box is now open, so feel free to suggest. And if you don't understand whether or not it's in scope, that's fine. You're free to suggest it anyway. I just won't include it if I don't think it's reasonable. I'm trying to sweep up this little hole here, and then get more aloe vera planted around. Let's see, how many suggestions do we have so far? 4? Okie dokie. Keep on suggesting. I'll take a few more suggestions before pulling on them all. And again, it's a channel point redemption, so simple comments in Twitch won't work. You have to use the viewer submitted ideas channel point redemption. The only way for me to collect all of the suggestions. Otherwise, I'm liable to miss them. What's the temperature of the interior hotspot? Sure. It is -11 Celsius, roughly. That would be the warmest spot of it. So it's still freezing. But, you know, there is definitely a risk of that to creep up over time. Wow, we have so much food. Oxygen might not be included, but food certainly was. All right, there we go. I just didn't want there to be stuff unobtainable under there. So now we'll just fill in the last of the farming tiles, and we'll have a nice carbon sink. All right, taking a look at all of the suggestions, it sort of boils down into two things. What should I work on? I could either produce ethanol, or I can set up liquid water storage. or yeah, it's really those two. So almost everyone suggested bathrooms. The liquid water, either way, I think what I'm going to do is move these bathrooms, this into the hot area. I think after I finish up this farm, I'm going to do that no matter what. I'm going to move this hot spot over so it doesn't keep producing heat unmitigated. But then afterwards, whether I set up liquid water storage, because I can't really have plumbing without liquid water storage, and liquid water storage is kind of a big barrier to pass, because keeping anything a liquid is kind of difficult in this biome. If you take a look at the full map, there is this sort of hotter biome down here, which I might have liquid water storage for. The only problem is moving water for a bathroom all the way down there and back will have enough heat loss or heat bleed that it's definitely not worth doing. So liquid water storage would be one priority, or refined ethanol. So you can pick between those two. Because I can't really build a washroom without liquid water, and liquid water is a big project on its own. Alright, the additional aloe vera farm is done. That should help out. And let's take a look at the priority of those. So I'm going to put these as priority 6. Slightly higher than background, but not like insanely. And I'm going to unpriority creep most things now. So all of the farming going back to like 6s. So like cooking and research, I can put as 8s. Egg cracking 8, oxalite 8. Power 8. Oops. Refinement 8. Things that like really need to be done. Outhouses is still gonna be 9 because I don't want to like have that as a problem continually. So if we want outhouses and sinks, wash basins, let's go ahead and copy these over. So this is a stopgap measure for now, not a permanent solution, where we can go to the bathroom and not really have to worry about the heat that it produces. I'm trying to think if we... where exactly to put this. So that would work for the bathrooms. But then it doesn't necessarily work for the... So I think what I'm going to do is actually break this floor down, or this exosuit forge down, to allow for more room in this area. I have an idea. The ice liquefier can really go anywhere. It doesn't really matter how close it is to the bathroom. And then outhouses, then sinks, and then this lumen quartz will move here. All right, so you guys want me to set up liquid storage, liquid water storage. Got it. So what I'm planning on doing is actually, believe it or not, leaving this bathroom intact, moving a bathroom here that I'll be using, and I'm leaving this bathroom intact because when I want this to become a washroom, I'm going to need a bathroom to use while that becomes a washroom as I deconstruct this. So this is the bathroom I'll be using, and this will be my backup bathroom when I build a washroom. So I'm planning ahead, where like I don't want to deconstruct this all because eventually I'm going to need it again when it becomes a bathroom. When I set up a washroom. So now that's set up, I am going to be disabling these old toilets entirely. I will keep the compost going for now. Actually, you know what? No. I'm going to disable them too. Disable everything over here so we no longer use it. Moving everything inside the warmer area of our base. Alright, let's check out the new printables. Fungal Spore, it's our first one ever. I was actually talking about it earlier due to all the carbon dioxide that we have, so let's print one. Not that I'm necessarily going to use it immediately. Fungal spores are a little bit temperature sensitive in that they don't like to be frozen too badly, but they're a little bit, you know, yeah. But it doesn't really matter unless I start to find slime, which I haven't found. Oh, a new blueprint. Thank you for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included Frosty Planet, which originally streamed live on Twitch August 1st. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch a next episode or an upcoming stream of mine. Farewell, my fellow duplicates.